Hello, children. Welcome again to the virtual session of science. I hope you all are doing very well, and hopefully, you all are writing in your notebook. You know, you have marks for your portfolio, so please do keep your book updated. Do write all the points, not only for the marks, it's also for your final exams. For your PA3, you need to update your notebook so that the concepts are there with you to revise. So let us start with today's session. We are going to have part 4 of reproduction in plants, chapter 12. Let us continue. Let us see what are we going to do. We were doing asexual reproduction, that is, we were learning about different types of asexual reproduction. We have seen vegetative propagation in plants through leaves, stems, and roots. Then we have seen budding, that is again a different type of asexual reproduction. Then we have budding, we have seen in yeast, how they multiply. And then we have seen fragmentation in Spirogyra, that is a kind of algae. So now in this session we will have some more different types of asexual reproduction. Please take this down in your notebook, spore formation. So under, please write subheading, or under that subheading itself we will continue to write different type of asexual reproduction, or one main heading is asexual reproduction. Under that we have already done vegetative propagation, budding and fragmentation. The fourth one which we are doing, which we are going to do is spore formation. So some plants contain spores that float in the air and cause asexual reproduction. A spore has a hard protective cover which protects it from the unfavorable environmental conditions like temperature and humidity. So a spore is a hard protective cover which protects it from the unfavorable environmental condition. When you have a very high temperature, or very low temperature, or a very high humidity. So as a result, the spores can travel long distances and survive for a longer duration of time. So as soon as they find favorable conditions such as moisture and proper nutrients, then they germinate and form new plants. For example, moss and ferns propagate in this way. So here you have two examples, moss and ferns propagate in this way. And spore formation is also very one of the important way by which naturally there is asexual reproduction. Please take this all the points in your notebook, children. I hope you are writing there. So here this diagram you have to draw. You should know how spore formation in fungus it happens and how it get carried away, and when they get a favorable condition, proper nutrients and moisture, then they will again will grow. So here you have seen a spore hard protective layer. It will have, the spores can travel long and for long distances and can survive for longer duration of time. So then they will germinate, they will fall on the ground and they will germinate, and then they will grow into a new plant. So here over here, fungus grow into a new fungus, sorry. So it's not a plant, it's a fungus. In a fungus you can see this. So here you can see it will fall on the ground where it will get a favorable conditions like nutrients and moisture, then it will grow. So here you see a diagram of spore formation in fungus. You can see in the diagram it has a bulb-like structure called sporangium, which contains spores. So that will burst and it will be carried away by the winds, and they can travel long distance and can stay and they can survive for longer period of time. So, and you will see the hyphae where it will get attached to the ground. So feet like structure you can see, that is called as hypha. One single feet is called as hypha. So this is seen in fungus. How the fungus will grow, how it will get propagated, how it will reproduce, this should be clear with you by spore formation. So now we will see sexual reproduction in plants. How plants can produce sexually. Here the name itself suggests female and male gametes, both reproductive organs very much required over here for sexual reproduction in plants. So let us see the flowers of a plant are its reproductive organs that participate in the sexual reproduction process. Please underline this. The flowers of a plant are its reproductive organs. Like we human and all the other animals have a reproductive part, a reproductive organ in a body. Similarly, for plants, flowers are the reproductive organ or the reproductive part which will take participate in the sexual reproduction process. And the male reproductive part of a plant are called stamen. The female reproductive part of a plant are called pistil. Please underline male reproductive stamen, female reproductive pistil. And both you will find in flowers of a plant which will actually participate in the sexual reproduction, where both male and female reproductive part plays a very important role. Some flowers contain both stamen and pistil and are called bisexual flowers. So you will have unisexual, bisexual flowers, where bisexual will have both male and reproductive part. In unisexual, one of the reproductive part will be present, and different type of sexual reproduction under this will happen. So your bisexual flowers, you can have your example lily, rose, brinjal, hibiscus, petunia and mustard, etc. So all these plants are bisexual in nature because they have bisexual flowers, and both the reproductive part, male and female reproductive part, is present in one single plant, in one single flower. So let us see. Some flowers contain either the stamen or the pistil and hence are called unisexual flowers, as I have already mentioned. So let us see some example here. You have papaya, watermelon, cucumber, coconut, etc. They are unisexual flowers. They have unisexual flowers. Either they will have stamen or they will have pistil. The new plant produced contains the characteristics of both plants that participate in the sexual reproduction. So the new plant which is produced, they will contain characteristic of both plants that participate in the sexual reproduction. Obviously, because we have all the characteristics of our parents because of the uh, genes we have. So it is inherited. Similarly, in new plant which produce which is produced will have characteristic of both the plants which is involved in the sexual reproduction. The stamen consists of anther that has pollen grains. These pollen grains produce male gametes. Please underline anther, uh, anther, pollen grains, and male gametes. Underline, these are important terms to be remembered. The stamen consists of anther and that has pollen grains. So anther has pollen grains and these pollen grains produce male gametes. Please do write this. You can see, draw the diagram under what you have stated just now, so that you should know what you stated, what you have written in the notebook. So diagram, you can see a stamen. It has anthers and a filament. And a part of this of a stamen, you can see pollen sac, and it has pollen grains inside. So when you have a horizontal cut, a section of the anther is cut, you will see pollen sacs where you have pollens inside. These pollen grains actually contains male gametes which will participate in the sexual reproduction. Please draw this in your notebook. Then the pistil consists, let us see the female reproductive parts of a plant, that is pistil. What does pistil consist of? The pistil consists of three parts: stigma, style, ovary. Let us see one by one. Stigma, it is a sticky surface where pollen grains get attached. From where do we get pollen grains? From, just now we had learned, from stamen, that is from anther. The part of a stamen, that is anther. That is a male reproductive part. So it will get stick to the stigma, that is a sticky surface. of the female reproductive part. And the style, it is a tube-like structure which connects the stigma and the ovary. What is ovary? It contains eggs in which the female gametes or eggs are formed. So there will be some ways by which pollen should come in contact with the ovary that contains eggs, so that a male and a female gamete fusion should happen, the merging should happen, so that the fertilization can happen and a zygote should be formed so that it can reproduce further. So please do write about the pistil, all these three parts of a pistil, each one has their role to play. Now please draw this diagram of a pistil which consists of stigma, style and ovary. Stigma, you can see it is standing on a style that is a tube-like structure, and stigma surface is sticky so that the pollen grains can attach to it easily. An ovary is a bulb-like structure below which contains female eggs. So it has a tube like, the pollen will get stick to the stigma, it will travel through style and it will go to the ovary inside, it will meet with the eggs, then female and male gametes will fuse to give you a zygote. Thank you children. I hope this is very clear with you. You have to draw those small diagrams which I am discussing with you. Each and every parts of the plant separately you draw and you can understand the role which is very important for the sexual reproduction. Thank you children. Have a great day.